Hello viewers, good morning. Welcome to this session. I am going to talk about uh, A Tale of a Tub as a parody by Jonathan Swift. A Tale of a Tub by Jonathan Swift may be studied in many aspects. One of the aspects of the studies of A Tale of a Tub is to view it, to study it, to look into it as a parody. Now a question arises, what is a parody? A parody is a genre of literature which imitates an author, a writer, a book, a style, a subject matter in order to ridicule at it, in order to laugh at it, in order to mock at it. Such a genre of literature is called parody. A Tale of a Tub can be studied as a parody. We have many instances, examples, which go to prove that A Tale of a Tub is a parody of the 17th century prose writers. Jonathan Swift tries to imitate their styles, their themes, their subject matter in A Tale of a Tub to ridicule at them, to mock at them, to laugh at them. Dr. Johnson found it difficult to believe that A Tale of a Tub had been written by Jonathan Swift. The reason was that it was very different from Swift's work written after 1700. He said, it has so much more thinking, more knowledge, more power, more color than any of the works that are indisputably his. Swift himself, when he was an old man, was surprised by the learning and thought packed in each line of the tale, and he wondered and exclaimed, "Good God, what a genius I had when I wrote that book." This does not mean that the tale is better than his other works. Its style is different from that of his other books, other writings. The 17th century prose writers like Sir Thomas Browne, packed every sentence, every paragraph of theirs with classical allusions, similes, and metaphors. It was an ornate, heavy, and cumbersome style. About the subject matter and the form of the writings also, they had fixed conventions. Swift did not like all this, and in his another writings, he adopted a plain and simple way of expressing his thoughts and ideas. This simple and direct prose style was adopted by the 18th century prose writers like Addison and Steele. Swift wanted to make fun of the 17th century forms. Accordingly, he wrote the tale as a parody of the 17th century forms as well as a style of writing. Swift has expressed this intention in his apology. He says, some of those passages in the discourse which appear more liable to objection are what they call parodies, where the author personates the style and manner of other writers whom he has a mind to expose. In the 17th century, writers began their books with long dedications, prefaces, introductions to the readers, etc. The dedications of Dryden's Juvenal runs to 53 folio pages. In the translation of Virgil, Dryden wrote a separate dedication for each section. In most cases, the subject matter of the book was flimsy and so long the introductions looked ridiculous. Swift had parodied this by writing an apology, dedication to Lord Somers, the bookseller, to the reader, dedication to Prince Posterity, preface and introduction. The reader has to struggle through these 6 sections before he comes to the story itself. Moreover, the 17th century writers were not anxious to keep to the point and proceed directly to the end. They were like travelers who are not interested in reaching their destinations and place of journey at the earliest, but wish to enjoy every scene and sight on the way of his journey. Swift does the same thing in the tale. Every now and then he stops the main narrative to give some delicious details or some allusion to what he has read or heard about. When giving his theory of the years of preachers, he cannot help pausing to describe what he has heard about the slitting of a snake's ear that aspirates through a whole heart. He piles up digressions on digressions till the main story is almost crushed under their weight. All this is only a satire of 17th century prose forms or prose. A 17th century writer wanted to put everything he knew into his book, into his writing. He could not make plain a statement. He must compare it with something in classical mythology, or something from Greek or Latin literature, or something he has read or heard about, the phenomena of nature. These were known as conceits. The tale is written exactly in the style. The following is a typical example of this style. The passage occurs in the midst of Swift's description of the sect of the Aeolists. And whereas the mind of man, when he gives the spur and bridle to his thoughts, doth never stop, but naturally sallies out into both extremes of high and low, of good and evil. His first flight of fancy commonly transports him to ideas of what is most perfect, finished, and exalted, till, having soared out of his reach and sight, not well perceiving how near the frontiers of height and depth border upon each other with the same course and wing, he falls down plumb into the lowest bottom of things, like one who travels the east into the west, or like a straight line drawn by its length into a circle. Whether a tincture of malice in our nature makes us fond of furnishing every bright idea with its reverse, or whether reason, reflecting upon the sum of things, can, like the sun, serve only to enlighten one half of the globe, leaving the other half by necessity under sad and darkness, or whether fancy, flying up to the imagination of what is highest and best, becomes overshot and spent and weary, and suddenly falls like a dead bird of paradise to the ground. Thus, A Tale of a Dove is a parody of the 17th century authors, 17th century writers. The Jonathan Swift has parodied the style, the subject matter, the theme of the 17th century authors, writers, in order to ridicule at them, in order to mock at them, in order to laugh at them. That's all.